Hello and welcome to Hungary, more specifically, I believe Budapest, where the Hungaroring is to be found, also a track for Formula One. And this is the track that's on the weekly rotation for the GT3 daily races on LFM. But this particular lobby is not through LFM, it's a public lobby that I joined. I've done some LFM ones too, but driving standards were terrible, and I feel like I'm not that good on the track yet, so I'm looking to improve in this public lobby and then maybe later go back to the LFM lobbies. Before this particular one, I had a personal best of a 147.2, I believe, on the track, which I'll be looking to improve. I'll come pretty close with this one. It's a 147.3, I can tell you now already. But I'm still hoping to do better for the qualifying. And since this is the first video on the Hungaroring, I'll also tell you about the track. So starting as per usual, a straight. It's not very long. It's actually quite hard to even reach 6th gear. Usually I just cap it at 5 and going through the last upshift. Then into turn 1, sharp hairpin. Lots of trail braking needed. Then we go downhill in turn 2. It's a very long, also a hairpin, but with a wider radius, and still all the way downhill, so difficult to find the grip. And into turn 3, which is a very fast sweeping right-hander, you're just full throttle coming out of turn 2 and you keep it up through turn 3 ideally. Turn 4, very fast left-hander over a little crest, so the exit is unsighted until right before you get there. Makes it really pretty hard and requires a lot of commitment. Then 5 is another almost 180-degree turn, which then brings us to the only chicane in the track. Coming out of it, there's a mini straight, and then into a left-hander. You want to stay very tight on the inside there, because then the previous turn follows very soon after. So you want to have the open it up. Anyway, coming out, there's another very fast right-hander. Bit of a tough braking zone because you don't have to take off that much speed, but yeah, try to stay on the brakes brief enough. And I'm falling behind because this track just keeps coming. 12 was a sharp right-hander, have to really slow down for that one. And then 13 is another hairpin, quite quickly followed by this one, turn 14, last one of the track, another hairpin but with a wider radius than 13. So to me this track feels like a oversized karting track. Basically, it's pretty crazy to me that Formula One drives here, but I guess it still works. But it is very hard to overtake because there are so many corners, and just not the widest track either in most areas. So really not that easy to find a spot to overtake. Anyway, I ended up doing a 146.6, I believe, which was my new personal best. And off we go to the races. There is only Del and me in this lobby, ultimately, when we start, which I was a bit bummed about. And I was thinking of just up and leaving, but I figured I'd just give it a moment to see how it goes racing with Dello Box, or Del for short. So at the start, immediately they're sticking very close behind within about half a second. And as we head to turn 2, I go wide, and they're already looking to make a move here, presumably into turn 3. Now I cut across to try and block it off a bit, but since I was so wide in turn 2 and then cutting across quite late, I'm offline for the exit, and I'm really just slowed down a lot on that exit, so not able to keep my position. So in the replay here, we'll see that indeed I am very wide. Del is looking to make a move on the inside, so I want to cover that off. I'll be looking to move back to the left, also in preparation for turn 3, but it's happening so late now that my turn-in for turn 3 happens late too, so I missed the apex by a whole lot. And I have to do a big lift, and this then gives Del the option to move to the inside. So back to where we stopped, into turn 5, a long right-hander, and then on our way to the chicane. The chicane is a little difficult to navigate. You want to cut the curbs a lot, but there are these two little raised platforms on those curbs that give a lot of bumpiness and make it quite unpredictable. Now, previous corner, the two previous ones were called Buda and Pest. The first one, Buda, I saw Del in front going a bit wide, and that made it then so that into Pest they had a very tight entry line, so that helped me out. But then through the next section of turns 10 and 11, I lose touch a bit. We're now in turn 12, which is called Schumacher. and this 13 is called Senna. Senna requires a lot of trail braking, and I think I do a bit better there than Dell. Not so sure about this lap particularly, but in general we'll see it play out, at least in the race. And I believe also turn 14, which is called Siz. I suppose that's a Hungarian name I'm not familiar with, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right. But that just about completed lap 1, and Dell had pulled away from me. And at this point I had forgotten all about giving up and dropping out because I wanted to catch this guy again. Now, one thing I noted here is that I pulled it back quite a bit in turn 1. I think my trail braking and just braking in general were better there. They had to get on the brakes quite a bit earlier than me since they used less trail braking, and then allowed me to gain quite a bit of time. But then through the rest of sector 1 they are opening the gap again, and actually by quite a bit, now up to 3 seconds, so I'll have to find some time there. I am trying to find that time in turn 4, which is called Mansell, but I go a bit too hard, so that was the unsighted crest or exit, unsighted exit after the crest that I mentioned earlier. So I was very committed at least, so that's good, but then yeah, just went outside the lines and got my first track limits warning. I believe Dell at this point also had at least one already. I get a little notification in VR, but it's not shown in the recording, unfortunately. Also, by the way, you may have already noticed I wasn't using any proper replays, just using repeat bits of the overtake that Dell did on me from this recording. And that's because I already overwrote the replay before I got around to recording interesting sections from different camera point of views. So we'll just have to do it what was recorded off the screen, but I still wanted to bring it because I had a good time with this one. Anyway, as we get to the end of lap 2, I have pulled a little bit closer. I did a 147.3 and Dell a 147.5, so not that much of a gain, but every bit helps. But here now, fully in turn 1, we get to see really well how I was attacking the braking zone a lot better there. So suddenly I closed that gap a lot, and I'm within 1 second behind now. I've learned my lesson from the first lap, maybe the second one as well, I don't recall now. But I'm sticking a lot closer to the inside in turn 2, and I am fully committed then through turn 3, not lifting at all. Now I'm super close behind into turn 4, behind Dell. Feels too risky because I don't feel that comfortable in the turn, so I hang back a little before we even get to the braking zone. I just want to make sure that I'm not that close that I have to really hit the brakes hard to avoid a collision, and then usually you end up overdoing it and falling back more than if I just lifted the way I did now. This corner here, corner 8, I noticed I got the apex better than Dell typically. That allowed me to stick closer to the inside into 9. So usually I was gaining a bit of time there as well. Not necessarily so much now, but yeah. A bit similar story through 11, actually also taking more of the curve on the inside for me, and especially here in 12, once more we see the same thing. So all of these just allow me to come a little bit closer again. And as we come to the end of the lap, through 13 and 14, I am really getting quite close, and I can start thinking about an overtake. The best spot for an overtake is definitely turn 1, which is called Piquet. Though as we come out of 14, Dell pulls ahead again, so at this point they're too far ahead and there's absolutely no way to go for a dive there. I do get the purple lap with a 146.7. Not quite a new personal best, but it's very close to the one that I had just set in the qualifying, so yeah, very encouraging stuff. I pull it back a little again through turn 2. In 3 though, Dell is a bit faster, so it's just a little back and forth. I'm mostly focused at this point on improving on the track. Did I get a... Okay, I must have come very close there to another track limits warning, but I guess I just got the track limits no time gain, so no warning either. Now in the chicane, I think my braking again was better. I think actually in general I would say my braking was a bit better, but Dell was better on the throttle. So
I would get closer in the first phase of corners, but then on the exit Del would pull away again a lot of the time. But yeah, so in the chicane especially, I'm just earlier on the brakes and I hit the first curb on the inside better than them, which then gains me a bit of time. I should be probably a bit braver on the throttle if I'm learning from this guy. Could also be a difference in car, I guess, but at our level, there's probably time to be gained in any type of way. But yeah, we approached the end of lap 4, and this time I'm way closer than last time. I'm also sticking more to the inside of turn 14, giving me more room on the exit, so for once I don't really lose that much time on the exit on the throttle. And I cap it off with a improved personal best of 146.5, and then come super close into running into the back of Del in turn 1, because again my braking allowed me to just carry more speed right up until the apex. Because of it this time and how close I came, I do have to back off a little. As mentioned earlier, when you come too close you tend to then always overcorrect just a little bit, because it is pretty scary coming that close to the back of them. Through turn 4 there we see Del going off track. I believe they may have gotten another track limit warning there. The reason I'm so sure that they are happening at least is because they end up getting a drive-through penalty for it. And it must have been pretty close to this point of the race already that they got it, I think. Or at least 2 warnings now. At different points in the lap I was up on my delta, so again pretty encouraging. I was still really looking to just learn the track better, and I think that's the main thing I gained from this session. But then in the meantime I did have fun chasing down Del. So started out in the front, but now at the end of lap 5 I'm still second, after they took it in out of turn 3 on the first lap. So getting closer and closer, not quite there though, but just about a half a second behind as we go onto the main straight. Now both of us have dropped a bit of time in the last lap, doing 147s, 0.4 for Del, 0.3 for me, so very evenly matched. And I felt that was a bit of the story of the lobby. I was very surprised by this because with only one other guy there, the chances of us being evenly matched are actually very low, which is why I was heavily considering just dropping out altogether from the start. But then, yeah, finding out that we just couldn't be separated almost, it seems, I stuck around, luckily. Another big commitment there from me in turn 4, and I don't think I even hit track limits, but it must have been super close. Would have loved to show a replay there. And then through 5 I actually stick really close by. I didn't intend to go for a move or plan to go for a move there, but it just worked out naturally, because if we look at if we repeat the actions here, so same section, we can see that Del is a little late on the brakes, just already past the curb there. I'm a bit earlier, so I'm hitting that apex here. I'll be able to go over the curb on the inside, and Del is wide of it. So as I aim for it, I think they saw me in their mirrors and they got spooked for just a moment, hampering their exit then, and that gave me the position. So in the end I do take back P1 here. I'm not sure if Del already had the drive-through penalty, but regardless, when it came, I felt like I probably shouldn't just care about it, pretend it's not there, because the only thing I have in this race is the battle with Del, so I wanted to have it for as long as I could. So yeah, basically I could let them through and fall back by 20 seconds and I'd still come out the winner, but I'm gonna fight as if it is for position for the rest of the race as well. So Del is now 0.6 seconds behind. And if they'd gotten the penalty already, I'm happy to find that they seem to have the same spirit as me of wanting to continue battling, even though for position it didn't really matter. Now, previous lap quite a bit slower for Del. I think that's largely
attributable to the fact that they let me through them in the chicane. Not really because they wanted to, but yeah, because I was there on the inside and spooked them. So around we go through turn 2 and now 3, and I did come out of 2 a bit better, so I open up the gap till about 1.5 seconds. Leave a lot on the table there on the exit of 4 though, so that brings Del back in contention and just about a second behind as we come onto the faraway section of the track from the starting line. Now here on the exit of the chicane, my car got unsettled quite a bit because of that bump on the second curb, allowing Del to pull just a little bit closer again. But if you look at my delta though, I'm up 6/10, so predicted lap time here is 1:46.1, which if I can make this stick more or less, I'll be up almost a full second on my personal best in the start of this at the start of this lobby with the 1:37.2. So yeah, just looking to bring home that delta, try and be brave here on the throttle through the last curve, and I managed quite well, so I'm just about up 6/10 indeed, and I bring it home with 1:36.2 here. Now Del, actually, I feel he was maybe on a similar plan as me because they match me almost with a 1:46.3. So I feel, as I was looking at their lap times throughout the lobby, that they too were actually just kind of learning the track. Which makes it even crazier that we remain so evenly matched, because we're both starting at the same point and looking to improve, and we do it at about the same rate. It's so unlikely that, yeah, great coincidence, happy to find it. I get my second warning for track limits here, coming out of turn 4 once more, same spot as before. That unsighted exit is really just so tough to navigate and to know when to get on the throttle. I hope I'll still improve on it, but yeah, one of my biggest working points for the track. This previous corner was also one of them, but I am now sticking much more to the inside line already, so allowing me then more speed through the second part, or the next one. And this corner here, turn 11, allez-y, also a big working point. I really need to try and find where exactly to hit the brakes. It's not that easy to pinpoint because it's just so fast, and it's kind of hard to know how much you even need to slow down. Now coming into 13, I run a little wide there, and Del is already sticking a nose in, just sniffing a bit on the inside. I managed to cover it off. I am half a second down on my new personal best from previous lap, which I'm still pretty happy about. Anything in the 1:46s I'm very happy about currently. But Del does better with another 1:46.3, so matching their lap from their previous lap to a T, and just pulling a little bit closer to me as a result. Going into turn 2, I keep it tight on the inside, but maybe a little bit too much, maybe a bit too slow, and then I overcompensate by going on the throttle a bit too hard, making me run wide a little on the exit, impeding my line into turn 3, and this really brings Del super close to the back of me. I think I hit another track limits coming out of 4, but no time gain, so at least no warning for it. But through it all, Del is now easily within half a second and really looking to make a move, it seems. It's not easy to find the right spot for it, especially since I figured I'm a bit stronger on braking. The sector we're in right now, presumably not do it. I think their best chance is coming out of the last corner, turn 14, onto the main straight, or possibly through turn 3, where I messed up a couple times already on the throttle. We see here into 12 that Del is a little later on the brakes than me and has to bail out. So
Doesn't cost them too much time, but I think maybe a couple of tenths. So the gap is now a bit more than 1 second, which will only start showing on the straight, as long as I maintain that gap. Now I do lose about a tenth and a half maybe through the last corner, so that will mitigate some of the damage Dell had incurred. And yeah, we see my lap time starting to drop away a little bit, which isn't all that surprising. We're on the 10th lap of the race, and this track is relentless with the cornering, a lot of very fast corners, plenty of slow ones as well. Just constant cornering, really, it never stops coming at you. But it also means that you naturally chew through the tires very quickly, and it makes sense that after just about 10 laps they start to drop away from you. It will be hard to then match my personal best, although I'm sure driving wise there is plenty of room for improvement, so it's not impossible. But yeah, for my skill level, the tires dropping away is gonna make it very hard. Coming out of turn 5, I left too much on the table again on throttle on the exit, so Dell once again, from dropping behind a little bit, brings it right back into contention, just about half a second to a second behind now. I do quite alright through turns 10 and 11 though, so that helps of course. But coming up on 12, I go a bit wide past the inside curb, then run a little wide on exit and have to wait quite long before I can get on the throttle. So once again, Dell is really getting a good whiff, first on the outside, then the inside, switching it up as I was drifting wide. In the last corner of the track as well, I just run a bit wide throughout, so was a little wide on entry. I'm at risk of falling behind, so I hit the throttle a bit, but that just pushes me a little wider, and it ends up with Dell alongside down the main straight. I'll be looking to defend, so I don't hit the inside curb, try to stick it around on the outside, but Dell just has the better exit and ends up pulling ahead, gaining the position again. Now at this time I am sure that they have the drive-through penalty, so yeah, I'm still treating it like it's not there, but it's been there for a while now, and you have just about exactly 3 laps to serve it. If you don't, you get disqualified. So I know that the time is up very soon, and the pretense won't hold. But for however long I can, I'll keep trying to fight it. So coming out of 5, heading to the chicane, I am once again really close by, but Dell hits the brakes just a little bit early enough that I don't manage to pull alongside and really take that inside line from them. And then as we go through 8, I mess up. I'm off my preferred line because I was taking a look on the inside there, but I'm already trying to keep it tight, and with them taking an even tighter line, I just overcook it and spin out, end up falling heavily behind as a result, of course, just about 10 seconds. So one more look coming out of the chicane. I'm already looking at the inside. I still try to stick to my same line with about the same speed and keep it tight on the exit too, and yeah, there's just no way to hold that, or at least not for me, so end up spinning out, and that's the damage done then. So yeah, it looks like my pretend race is just about over. I was hoping that Dell would just wait up for me, because it's all for naught anyway, with them having the penalty. There's nothing really for them to gain from driving off in the distance and hot lapping by themselves, unless that's what they were hoping to achieve. But yeah, if we look at the track map, we'll see that Dell is already on the main straight, and suddenly disappears there. So on the map, I'm again promoted to P1, and the timing sheet will take quite a while to catch up, because Dell had hit the 3 laps driven without serving the penalty, so they are now disqualified. And in the chat, they became very, they were acting very confused. They had no idea what happened or why. So after they asked about it, I started slowing down because I had no one behind me anyway, and I explained that they had track limit penalties, drive-through, didn't serve it, and got disqualified as a result. And Dell still responded that apparently they somehow turned off notifications, so they had no idea about the penalties or the warnings and so on.
and that's why they had carried on as they had. Yeah, not realizing that they were about to be disqualified and thinking that we were in a proper racer position. Now, with that out of the way, we just wished each other well and said good race, and yeah, we seemed in agreement that it was a very enjoyable battle, and that it was unfortunate that it was cut short. And that was about it. A pretty special lobby in a way. Never had this kind of 1v1 only before. Never had it last this long either, so it was very fun, and yeah, just something different from the usual. So hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next one.